At 7:14 a.m., the crunch of tires on gravel shattered the stillness at Red Rock Logistics Depot, a covert federal warehouse hidden behind a forgotten timber road in rural Alabama. The air was crisp, the morning quiet, save for the faint hum of machinery inside the unmarked facility. Inside, Mark Sullivan, a grizzled logistics veteran with 21 years of service spent navigating wars in a stewed over a manifest for disaster relief kits, his pen scratching final checks. The steel door groaned open, and Mark's eyes snapped up, instincts flaring. Something was wrong. The man who strode and wore a patchwork uniform, dark cargo pants, a cheap tactical vest with HOA Compliance Division slapped across it in Velcro, and a badge dangling from a lanyard like a hall pass. His walk screamed bravado, as if he were starring in his own action flick. Without a word, he stormed past "Do not enter federal access only" signs and barked. This facility violates Fire Code and Ordinance 12C. It's under immediate review. His name, stitched on the vest, read Officer Tom Harlan, Chief Compliance Agent. Mark didn't budge. Stocky, mid-40s, with the calm of a man who'd faced worse than clipboard-wielding wannabes, he stood beside a steel crate stamped with military codes, hands loose. Everything about Harlan screamed fraud, no agency markings, just a laminated card labeled HOA Tactical Enforcement and a swagger that didn't match the stakes. "These munitions are a hazard to residential safety," Harlan snapped, waving his clipboard. "Surrender them, or we escalate." Mark's gaze flicked past Harlan to a black SUV idling outside the fence, a magnetic Community Oversight Patrol sign plastered on its side. No government plates, no contractor tags, just a civilian vehicle playing dress-up. "You know this is federal property under a military lease, right?" Mark asked, voice steady as stone. Harlan didn't blink. "Your status doesn't exempt you from neighborhood code enforcement. This HOA has jurisdiction over all structures within boundary lines." Boundary lines. The man was quoting suburban bylaws to a secure compound stocked with contingency supplies. Mark's jaw tightened, but he stepped casually toward the desk, his hand grazing the underside of a drawer. His thumb found a recessed button, small, cold, silent. He pressed it. No sound, no light, just a faint vibration as the signal shot to the Ranger communications net. Harlan kept talking, oblivious, spouting nonsense about violations and seizures. Mark's eyes, unyielding, locked on him, the kind of stare that carried the weight of deserts and firefights. He knew backup was coming. Harlan didn't. "Got a warrant or county-issued authority to be here?" Mark asked, his tone flat, precise. Harlan laughed, loud and theatrical, leaning back on his heels. "You think you're above the rules because you shuffle crates and wear camo?" The words hit like a spark in dry grass. Mark's chest tightened, not from anger, but from the audacity of fraud mocking him on federal soil, threatening military assets like they were yard sale junk. Harlan, mistaking silence for weakness, pulled a walkie-talkie and barked, "Unit 2, start the compliance sweep. Confirm visual on ordnance containers. Photograph assets for evidence." Then he crossed a line. From a pouch on his belt, Harlan grabbed a roll of duct tape and an orange "Seizure in Progress" sticker, slapping it on the ammunition crate. Mark's fists clenched behind his back. That crate held federally tracked rounds, logged by multiple branches. Harlan had no clearance, no training, no clue. Undeterred, he marched across the warehouse, snapping photos, rattling locked doors, muttering about non-compliant fuel canisters. Outside, through high glass slats, Mark spotted two more imposters in shoddy uniforms. One clutched bolt cutters, tracing the fence. The other stood by the SUV, scanning the tree line like a budget sentry. They didn't know they were being watched. Cameras, hardwired to a secure server, fed live footage to Department of Defense personnel and base command. Inside, Harlan made his fatal mistake. He approached the side entrance to the command trailer home, to encrypted radios and data systems, and jammed a screwdriver into the lock, trying to wedge it shut. Mark moved, deliberate, stepping between Harlan and the door. "That's a federal system. You don't touch it," he said, voice low, unyielding. Harlan sneered. "You think you can stop this? You're not law enforcement. You're just a tenant." To the untrained eye, Mark was a warehouse supervisor in work boots and a fleece. But 20 feet behind him, past a locked panel, lay the facility's true face. Encrypted radios, dual-screen terminals, biometric gun lockers, and an override system wired to regional command. This wasn't a shed. It was a logistics node, and Harlan had pushed too far. Harlan's eyes darted to a steel control panel by the server alcove, mistaking it for a thermostat or switch. He stepped forward. Mark raised a hand nod in threat, but with the quiet power of a man who knew words could outweigh force. "You're 30 seconds from federal custody." No bark, just fact, like a countdown ticking. Harlan scoffed. "You expect me to believe the Army's coming over a storage shed violation?" He reached again. Then thunder broke the morning. 2 Humvees roared across the gravel, doors swinging open in sync. 4 Army Rangers stepped out, full kit, no theatrics. Plate carriers, comms, sidearms holstered with precision. Their boots hit the ground in rhythm, moving fast, controlled. These weren't guards, they were Tier 1 operators, tasked with securing one of Alabama's most sensitive supply hubs. Sergeant First Class Elena Torres led them, square-shouldered, battle-hardened, her comm a weapon in itself. She nodded at Mark. "Got your beacon." Then, squinting at Harlan, she asked, "Who the hell are these clowns?" Harlan's clipboard sagged. His face drained of color. Outside, bolt cutters clinked against concrete as one accomplice raised his hands. The other bolted for the SUV, but froze as a second Humvee blocked it with surgical precision. 3 military police emerged, flex cuffs ready, their movements swift, silent. No sirens, no chaos, just protocol, clean and absolute. Mark stood, arms crossed, watching the scene unfold. He'd known the outcome the moment he pressed that button. By noon, the federal machine was in motion. The DoD filed a report, and the FBI opened a case on HOA Tactical Enforcement LLC, a shell operation tied to scams targeting veterans and rural landowners across the Southeast. This wasn't their first stunt, but it was their sloppiest. Trespassing on federal ground, impersonating officers, and attempting to seize military inventory felonies that stuck like nails in a coffin. 2 months later, Mark testified in Atlanta, crisp in his uniform, delivering a precise account of the morning Harlan's crew tried to bluff their way past biometric locks. Surveillance footage, radio logs, and forged credentials buried them. Harlan and his accomplices faced multiple felony counts: impersonation, attempted theft of government property, unlawful entry. Sentencing was swift. They wouldn't fake citations again. Red Rock never skipped a beat. The Rangers left every crate untouched, their work precise, contained. The only trace of the incident was a new plaque mark bolted to the gate the next morning, coffee in hand. In bold military font, it read, "This facility is under federal protection. Violators will be prosecuted by the U.S. Army Rangers." Below, in spray paint, a dry jab. "Not your HOA, not your rules." No press, no fanfare, just clarity. Justice didn't shout. It stood firm, letting silence speak. The incident sparked whispers in Alabama's backroads. Some called it overreach, others a necessary smackdown. Was Mark a hero or a cog in a machine too quick to flex? Was Harlan a crook or a fool caught in his own con? The truth lay in the tension between order and audacity, between those who guard the line and those who cross it blind.